Okay, you gotta believe me when I say this. I do not necessarily want to go out there and make negative videos about one of my favorite hockey teams in the Montreal Canadiens. But hey, we did make a video yesterday talking about the good that's going on with this team. We spoke about Slafkovsky, Demidov, Reinbacher even. So, with the good comes a little bit of bad, and especially after last night's game between the Canadiens and the Ottawa Senators, I do think there is a lot of room to talk about the bad. Trouble in Montreal, eh? Let's go out there and just review what happened in yesterday's contest, and then we will take a look at some of the extra notes that I think bear repeating because they are quite concerning. So, Montreal, as you can see on the screen, 5-2 loss to Ottawa. Brady Tkachuk, welcome back to the NHL. He had scored his first goal of the season, and he looked pretty good, I would say. Now, everything started in the first period. Juraj Slafkovsky ends up getting a power play marker assisted by Caulfield and Suzuki, only for the Senators to bounce back and score themselves two straight to get the lead in the first. Second period comes along and you have Jake Sanderson and Drake Batherson, two guys whose last names are pretty similarly structured, getting on the board too, 3-1 and then 4-1. Before Nick Suzuki scores a power play goal, he chooses to shoot on the man advantage, gets it up to 4-2, only for Brady Tkachuk to score and make it 5-2 Ottawa. Not the best way for Montreal to get out there at the Bell Center. And obviously, results from the fans are not very happy at the moment. Now, I don't want to make this entire video a let's overreact to one game's worth of a sample and talk about how everybody sucks kind of thing. That's not what I want to do here. But I do think that some of the conversations that have come from this game can be replicated throughout the course of the season so far, up to this point. And I'll let you know what I mean about that when we head over onto the Canadiens subreddit and we take a look at the game score stat card. Obviously, our Habs is a pretty, let's just say sad place at the moment because of the Canadiens' loss, but after the quotes from Martin St. Louis and Nick Suzuki, you will find this. The game score impact card for Montreal's 5-2 defeat at the hands of the Ottawa Senators. They actually changed the format of these. I don't like how they did that, but they did it anyway. Now you have the forwards on top and the defensemen at the bottom. It doesn't matter how good any one of these two classifications of players are, they're always going to be separated top and bottom. So even if a D-man is so amazingly good, he'll be at the bottom of the graphic. I don't like how they did it, but hey, I guess they wanted to do some innovation there. Let's go out there and take a look at this. So, the top Montreal Canadiens forward by game score was Nick Suzuki, who had a 0.36 game score and was both positive and negatively valued in the hockey game. You can see some of the other names over here. Nick Suzuki was the only positively ranked forward for the Canadiens last night, which is not great. You can see who the worst one was. It was Jake Evans, unfortunately, at the bottom. And then, oddly enough, the best defenseman for the Canadiens was Arber Xhekaj, with a 0.95 game score breakdown score. Alexandre Carrier had a 0.74, and these guys were both in the positive category if you look at the actual bar graph. But other than that, oh boy, Noah Dobson and Mike Matheson, they got caved in. Dobson was at a minus 3.11, Matheson at a minus 3.48. And then, at the very bottom of the list, you have Lane Hutson and Jayden Struble. Hutson has a minus 5.53 rating, and Struble has a minus 7.02. And sometimes, we come across folks who don't really understand the metrics of the numbers and the game score stat cards. I'm just going to tell you right here, having a -7 game score is absolutely terrible. Like, that is total disaster territory right there. And Jayden Struble happened to have been sharing that spot alongside Lane Hutson, who was better than Struble. If you slide over here, you will see some positive value in the offensive side out of Hutson. Struble, unfortunately, did not have much of that at all. And so, from this graph, you can definitely see that there are folks in Montreal that just aren't playing all too well. And there are a number of comments from the Habs sub that I wanted to dive into that just talk about the panic at the moment in regards to some of these names. Let's go out there and look at this. I cannot for the life of me understand why Jayden Struble replaced Adam Engstrom. There was a long list of scouts in attendance tonight. WhoGivesAShirt.ca says, but even if we were shopping Struble around, nobody is going to bite after that performance. He's been bottom left Struble all season. Super disappointing. Now, bottom left Struble essentially is referring to Struble's place at the bottom left of the graphic of these stats scorecards. And yeah, no, that's been a pretty consistent pattern, I'd say. He has not been great this year. Arbor and Carrier supremacy, darn, we've got problems. Obviously referring to the fact that Carrier and Xhekaj were the only two positively valued Canadiens D-men in yesterday's game. They played incredibly average. Not bad, but just what you'd expect from a third pair, and were by far the best pairing. Not ideal. Xhekaj, I owe you an apology. This might be the worst one I've seen. Struble trying his best so the spirit of Mailloux lives on. The poor guy looks lost out there sometimes. And then you have the conversations about Struble's partner. Can we find Lane Hutson a legitimate D partner? JFC. And then you have this comment from Beefiest Bison. Yeah, no, Hudson's legitimate D partner was Caden Gooley for about 5 games, and then the guy got injured. Unfortunate. I can't help but laugh when everyone was citing Struble's heavily sheltered good analytics with Hutson last year. Oh, he's a great partner for Lane. That was an often repeated sentiment. The guy is a 7th defenseman at best. Arbor Xhekaj has had a wonderful redemption arc over the course of that ugly November. He's been playing steady, simple hockey. He also PKs, which gives him another advantage over Struble. And then you have another comment that says, the worst part is our D was supposed to be the strength coming into this year. It seems like everything on our side of the zone has been terrible. This is ultimate crappery. And especially when the Canadiens are finally scoring. Struble sucks ass. He's been terrible for the last 5-6 games. Please get him out of there. Engstrom should move up. He's been worse than Xhekaj. So I think a lot of folks are kind of echoing the same ideas here. It's not looking all too good for Jayden Struble right now as a member of the Montreal Canadiens. And even though you can single out him as having the worst performance of the night, it's not like there was much help either. Nick Suzuki was the only positively valued forward on the Montreal Canadiens yesterday, which I think can really start to get people wondering about whether or not Kiefer Sherwood of the Vancouver Canucks should be targeted here. Now, I know, we did make a video yesterday about Sherwood and the Canadiens. I just wanted to toss that in here at the end of this commentary because obviously, you know, this was a new report from The Score citing some commentary made by Pierre Lebrun on TSN that, hey, Montreal could be interested in this guy. And of course, you have Canadiens fans going out there and saying, yes, please, get this dude. He can add some good identity into the bottom 6 of the Canadiens lineup. Not saying that one game against Ottawa is going to be the be-all and end-all decision-making game that will cause Kent Hughes to make a trade like this for Sherwood, but just saying, things aren't really looking all too good right now. There are some guys that are definitely not pulling their weight. Adam Engstrom should probably be playing. Jayden Struble is looking really bad. And I just want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think is the fix here for the Montreal Canadiens? Do you think that the answer lies from within? Do you think Jayden Struble can be the guy that he was supposed to be? Last year, when he had sheltered analytical minutes with Lane Hutson, he looked pretty good. Does that still exist, or is he just being given too much to work with now? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on, and bye.